Hey guys. Hey Peter. Hey Ryan. Stella Luna.
How's it going, Tish?
That's good. How about you?
Not much, just chilling. I was intrigued. History of Poltava. Are you talking about Ukraine?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's my stepmom is from Poltava,
Where is she from?
in
Oh,
Ukraine.
she is. How cool.
Yeah, so I'm interested in learning some more about that area.
Yeah, there's a lot of history that goes way back. There's Mr. Mott.
Good evening, my dear host and dear co-host.
Good evening,
Ryan,
Mr. Mott.
it is a beautiful, almost summer evening. Of course, it's getting a little bit darker, a little bit earlier, but we still have a summer that won't go away. We have real summer weather, at least during the day. It gets a little bit colder at night, but it still keeps clinging on. So, yet again, first we have Kursk, where the Nazi, let's call it war, took a turn and the dominoes started to falling in the wrong direction for the Nazis. And now we are in Poltava. All over the world, everybody knows the name of Poltava now. That is mainly as important as the Kursk, because in Poltava, Axel Oxenstierna's empire started to crumble a bit. So it is a big change in history. As many of us remember, the first central bank was formed in 1668. And just 40 years after, about 40 years after that, the empire of Axel Oxenstierna will start to dissolve itself. The territorial empire, I would say, because the banking empire will survive all of this. Because as we all know, all wars are banksters' wars. Thinking about that, we still have the same central banks today. Or the banks that turned into be central banks. But the first central bank is in place when Charles the 12th, from a warrior, when it comes to warfare, this is a battle between Russia and Sweden. So here we have quite a small country, but with a big impact over Europe and Russia, just as when the Vikings actually. So the thing is that when we are in the 1700s, or actually in the 18th century, just in the beginning of the 18th century. So I say this correctly. Um, the Viking heritage has formed that Russia. So this is more or less still, you could say, different Viking clans, Viking entities that is, still present to a certain degree, at least in the folklore. So referring to let's say the interview between Tucker and Putin, where Putin puts the finger on this and say, we are of Swedish heritage here, because that is when we are coming to this fight some 700 years after the Viking were involved in forming the Kiev Reich, the Kiev Kingdom, we could call it, or the Kiev era. And from that, the spring-off effect of that will be today's Russia. And this is what Putin is telling in the interview. So that's over 300 years ago, when this fight is ongoing, because Peter the Great of Russia, he puts his eye on the Swedish gain of power in Europe, and he's not too keen about that. He knows his Viking stories, so he says, maybe not. They will come for us, and if we let them expand, grow even more. So he makes his counter move, and it ends up with Charles II moving, Charles XII moving in a rapid pace towards Moscow. And he almost gets it done, but he will not succeed completely. So he will end up in today's Ukraine. What today is Ukraine? He had to take a detour to and actually the weather in this period of time will have a large effect, because the winters are brutal during the late 17th century and the early 18th century. The winters are so. The Russians use this to their advantage, because in the beginning they get pretty beaten up by, especially in Narva, by Charles XII. He is very young, but very well educated in military and so on. He is he has a pretty safe environment to grow up in, but it's also a very strict to the bone strict when it comes to religion and the hardening of a young man, a young soldier. People have many different point of views on this particular king. Maybe he's the most well-known king of Sweden. He will die some years after this, but he is forced to meet the the counter move of Peter, the Russian Tsar, and as I say, if we look at this in a broad perspective, this is Viking heritage meeting OG Viking heritage, sort of, actually, and so. And one of the Russians are sitting on the natural resources. So in this case, it is in the early 1800th century. The industrial era is not there yet, but the oligarchy behind, they understand what is coming, and we still have, the iron works and so on. The military industrial complex are already formed under Axel Oxenstierna. And also, of course, New Sweden, aka Delaware, Pennsylvania, and so on and so forth, in the US. And so this is moving in simultaneous perspective for the oligarchs. However, a war effort like this will take a whole lot of resources, and this has to be handled. So, and that is actually a little bit of a lucky streak for the US, which will get some breathing room in the early 1800th century. And this is the reason, to put it in a US perspective. The reason is the defeat in Poltava. And just by accident, there is an article for those who really likes to read. It's quite a long one. It's from several different sources. Oh, sorry, I posted the wrong one. Be gone. Yeah. And as far as we know, in 2024, just a few days ago, Poltava's training center academy for the Wallenbergs, Saab, Ericsson, Global Eye aircrafts, which is the ones that have been used in the latest wars. This is why I have said to you guys repeatedly that it is NATO that is Sweden compatible. It's not Sweden that is NATO compatible. This is the main reason. This is a combination of the satellite networks that might not be that, we have the X-37Bs bumping around like Tivoli cars up there in the sky. We don't know what they do, or in space, actually, not in the sky, but in space/sky. We have the Ericsson satellites that were involved in the Leonardo SPA, the shootout in the CIA safe house in Germany with regards of the 2020 election. So that there is definitely a connection there. So these aircrafts are maybe not anymore, but they've been around for a while. So this is the Global Eye or the Erie Eye. This is the most advanced digital combat field information surveillance guidance for a army or the army that is supported that have ever existed. So, and it's Wallenberg tech, straight on through all of it, down to the smallest nut and bolt of this. 3 of these machines were handed over to Ukraine. Previously, they were flying just outside the Ukrainian airspace, but that doesn't get them, to where they want to be. So for you guys that are not very read up on the war situation in Ukraine, Russia has more or less very good air superiority all over the place. However, certain areas that around Kiev and so on, the air defenses are still operational. But to be able to use the Global Eye or the Erie Eye or these AWACS planes to the full potential, they wanted to fly somewhere closer to the battle zones and so forth, still without reach for so therefore 2 or 3 of these amazing piece of high tech were delivered to Ukraine. But the thing is that there is no way that the Ukrainians can operate this. That's just a joke. These are personal, very expert roles, very well trained. Maybe a pilot can fly them because they are not, they are just an aircraft, ordinary, but the aircraft in its basis, it is not a fighter jet or something like that. So maybe a pilot could be Ukrainian, it's quite an ordinary aircraft, but it's a stealthy one. And the thing with this Global Eye, the Erie Eye, is that the enemy can't detect that this is an AWACS aircraft. They cannot see that it is maybe they can now, but they couldn't. So what they see on their radars, on their surveillance, or with they don't see the signatures of a AWACS battlefield commanding aircraft unit, AWACS. In short, they have many different lettering and so on, but we don't need to go into that. So that was the trick with this one. So the equipment, the radar, the uplink to the satellites, everything, it was or is invisible for the enemy, and that is quite an advantage because it just looks like an ordinary freight plane or on the radar. It doesn't. You cannot see the signature of a multi-billion-dollar super duper advanced battle command center with very, very skilled, very well trained operators, and quite a few of them. This is not a small aircraft, it's quite a big aircraft. That is the informational and timing wise instant time battleground guidance of a so far no country has anything that measures up to this that they manufacture, or that simply isn't. So the personnel that allegedly, because we don't have this confirmed, which is the rumor says, and many articles on X or in the news, different news outlets and so on, are claiming that the strike in Poltava took out crews or instructors and so on, that there were many Swedes actually hit in Poltava, where they had some kind of training center, or even, we don't really know exactly, but so no smoke without a fire. So there is definitely something, what we could call creating a crossing between the past and the present, which will equal knowing the past is knowing the future to a certain degree. So this is why the theme of today is Poltava. The Battle of Poltava in itself, it is as per usual, a bloody mess. Do you remember that and this is a world famous battle, you could say. Do you remember that we have been talking about the Battle of Axtorna, which is a small place just around the corner from where I am? There were like 7,000, somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 killed. This epic battle in Poltava, it has a casualty of around 8,000, both sides included. So some battles are shown in history, because this is not on Swedish soil and so on. Here they have suppressed the history of the Battle of Axtorna, which is a big one as well. And they have not even, they have not really done anything, as per usual. Hiding history always, even worse when it comes to older history. But it's surfacing now all the time, so it is a good thing. So this battle is quite much more people involved. We have approximately 10,000 Swedish, maybe a few more, actually, nobody really knows, and 40,000, around 30 to 40,000 Russian. So it is a big battle. The losses are, of course, heavy, and the Swedish army loses 6,900 men, which at one battle. And this is the battle for Poltava. It's under siege, and the army is a very skilled army, very successful in earlier doings, but they are exhausted. They've been away from home for a long time. They are professionals. The cavalry is outstanding. The cavalry is outstanding. They have they are very well trained. They are feared by everybody. And so are the infantry, but they are outnumbered. They will lose these ones, and because that the king actually had an accident when he was out on recon. He had an injured foot that made him, and with the infection and so on. So he was not at his best at this moment. So he was more or less not leading the battle. He had to hand it over to his second in command, and he and some other of the commanders, they were not always agreeing on stuff, and they had some grudges in between them. However, the communication errors here on the battlefield will be devastating, because the Swedes had they were, as we talked about in Axtuna, that a professional army against a non-professional. They learned something, the Swedes, from Axtuna in 1563, 64, 65, 68. They learned something, and from Brandstow's raid, they for sure learned a whole lot. So they abolished for a time this with the peasant soldiers for free, blah, 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 and formed instead, under the supervision of Axel Oxenstierna, a very professional army, the best in the world at that time. No doubt about that. So they and this army, Charles XII, he inherited that from from his father and from Axel Oxenstierna, which is it's not that far away in time. So they changed over by the failures at the Goat Ridge, at the Axtuna. They saw Randstow, they copied Randstow, they learned from him, and they still kept on, the national state thinking. It is there, but they create a very, very professional army, and the cavalry, as I said, it's out of this world. How these fighters are able to multiple times defeat semi-professional forces from the Russians and from the Polish and from everybody else they are outnumbered 4-1 or even worse, and they still are coming out ahead in these battles, which is quite amazing. And this is why this Charles XII is one of the kings that all Swedes know about and wants to talk about. But in the end, it didn't really work out. He lost, as you see in the article, he lost a third of Axel Oxenstierna's / Gustav II's empire, or Gustav III, who will come later on here, and starting to make things moving in another direction temporarily. But as we all know, he was killed, just as JFK, when he messed with the oligarchy a little bit too much. 1792 is that. So this is the end of this century, where we are in the beginning now. So it is a tremendous battle, and as we said, if we take a look at the map, you will see the kind of movements that is done. So I urge you to go to the map where you have all these lines, where actually Charles XII battled for 18 years.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you a question quick?
Yes, go ahead, please, and bring up some speakers. I'm just moving along here, but yeah,
Excellent, thank you. I kind of want to tie in some historical things that we've talked about in the past. One of them being the central bank installation. So, in your opinion, or unless you know for certain, do you know roughly how long the planning was before the installation of the first central bank and what took place in 1709? Then,
yeah. So the first central bank, they had a test run prior to it. I will share an article on that. They had a test run with the dollar, aka the dollar. It's the same dollar. It's pretty much the same wording even, which is quite strange. They had a test run some years before. So Axel Oxenstierna, he goes out of history, but his plan is followed to the last point, to the last little tweak. And the world's first central bank, they have a test run of 20 years, something like that. They do some experimental fiat currencies and trying to check out how, the test population, aka the Golemites, in Mordor, they are testing this, but it doesn't really work out as they want to. But that's the first test run of fiat currencies ever, but they put that aside and they say, well, we're gonna have this in the long time planning. The society is not ready for this yet, but we know when to do it. we just need to have a Federal Reserve some years down the road. I don't know, but so 1668 we have the world's first central bank in Axel Oxenstierna's old mansion, and at this point, the 30-year War of Oxenstierna and Gustav II, Sweden taking over and making deals, making treaties, making peace after this 30-year war. They have sort of occupied the coastline and the natural, not chokeholds. Chokeholds of the Baltic Sea. So they have sort of their surroundings. They have Finland. They have all the Estonia, Poland, and so they are pretty. The Russians are boxed in. They don't have a harbor. They cannot reach the Baltic Sea. That's the whole plan with Oxenstierna's deals and doings, to force them, into submission one way or the other, as a long-term plan. And this, of course, the Russians realizes, and when they see the opportunity with the young king in Sweden, you have the older king going out and so on. They go on the streak and trying to establish the harbor, which will be the result of the defeat in Poltava, because St. Petersburg will be established. And some 100 years later, the kings of St. Petersburg will be the noble family. And Ericsson will have a big factory there as well. You can't make shit like this up. So you can see the relations here. For many people that, they think of Russia is Russia. Russia is, the Swedes have always been in Russia, pushing, trying to grab it. This is like, it's like an old, if you have these two farmers and they keep on fighting over some, or that maybe were brothers or whatever, and they have the green grass that both claims. So to give some kind of simplifying explanation to it. So the Swedes have always been around in Russia because, well, as of, from the Kiev on the eastern side of the Dnieper, it's that part of the Viking heritage. They said, "Hey, fuck you, we're gonna take care of ourselves here. We know how to do this." So in the beginning, it probably was, when this area was very, it was not densely populated at all. It is, it is a lot of land, steppe lands, forest, mountains, whatever, large areas of natural resources and very few people. Still very few people, actually, even if it doesn't sound like that, but or seemingly, but it's, big areas, lots of natural resources of all kinds. So the Swedes have always tried one way or the other to put their hands on those natural resources of Mother Russia, so to speak. And yet,
so, real quick, one of the reasons why I kind of brought that up is because if you look at, looking at your map in the Battle of Poltava, you can see a timeline, right? So we know the installation was 1668. There were other, let's just say, possible planned events that were going on, which led up to 1709, right? So we're at right around, let's say a roughly going into a 50-year time frame. And the reason why I say this is because the playbook is based on predetermined events, right? So we know 50, 100 years is a good timeline. And if we narrow that into modern day times, going back to, let's say 2012, and actually, I see Lindsay in there, hey, Lindsay, and she just recently posted the video back from 2012 from the Olympics, highlighting, obviously their scheme of the pandemic and the launch of the genocide attempt.
The London Olympics, yes.
Yep, exactly. And now, recently, if we take a look at what took place in Paris, they told us again. Okay, there was a blackout. So I'm saying this because things aren't coincidental, and they happen in blocks and stages, right? So if we can apply, if anything, if we can apply a lot of the historical elements and know what to look for in certain ways, maybe not know the time or, when or whatever, but at least, kind of recognize these time blocks, right? We can kind of see that these people always have to have some sort of tell, and they always have to have some sort of timeline to go on. So it's important to just kind of look at some of the things that are going on. And now we're hearing a lot about the grid, and we're hearing a lot about the different things coming up, and obviously it's election time. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that because, a 50-year time frame is one thing, but, other circumstances are involved. So it really, can, excuse me, kind of help us prepare, just being aware of things that may be looming down the pipeline.
Yep. Yeah, I totally understand. So as I started out with, maybe even before I said this is epical times because we have both Kursk and Poltava, and Kursk is there where the Third Reich project fails, and from Kursk and to their total defeat, it is a straight line. And now we are in Poltava, which is, at least partially the at least the territorial fall of the Swedish Empire as of the 1700 year of 1700. 1700, it is 1600, 1600, East India Company, boom. And 1700, we have this Charles the 12th. But I think it's more or less forced by, what he's doing is that he's protecting the Treaty of Westphalia. That is his mission. That is where he moves, where he goes, and he's still, he must to all costs prevent Russia from getting access to the Baltic Sea. This is that's the main goal of his endeavor of 18 years of war. There were actually some soldiers that were, through all of this. That's totally crazy. They had to be like, in one swoop. You can see, if you look at the map, you can easily see the sequence of all of this. And you see how close he got to Moscow? It's not far away. Smolensk, 1708, but there it took the winter and all the circumstances of the Russians defending with the scorched earth tactics, took the better of them. So that's why they probably had a plan of going to Poltava and then flank up towards through the Ukraine, today's Ukraine, up towards Moscow again. I think that was the main battle plan. But the loss in Poltava decimated the Russians. There were only 600 men, and the king that actually managed to get out and go to Turkey, where there are, he stays for a while, and then there are actually battle in there as well, in Bender, where they had to fight to get out after, some intrigues and so on. So somebody wanted to catch the king, so to speak. Actually the Polish king wanted to catch the Swedish king there. He tried to bribe the Turks to sell him out, so to speak. So, with his very small guard, but they were very efficient. They broke out of it and went full speed through Europe. Actually, quite amazing story, actually. And of course, he has problems at the home turf. The oligarchies have, their internal his advisors and so. But even young, he was very, as I said, he was very aware of how things worked and so on. So he actually is not really a puppet king. He bites back at the oligarchy quite heavily. So there are some twists and turns in the local Mordor or the national Mordor thing as well, even if he's out on this mission to defend the Oxenstierna Empire, which doesn't succeed territorial, but he managed quite good anyways, because they don't lose the monetary control. They keep on top of that during these campaigns of war. But the Russians will establish St. Petersburg. This is the outcome of the Battle of Poltava. So it's very important for the Russians. This is a very definitely, this is the time that they beat the Swedes, and probably they wish that it was once and for all and let's get over with it. But I think the Swedish oligarchy has a grunge, and it's the natural resources we are talking about. So they try the same with Napoleon, and they try the same with Adolf. And now we are here again with Zelensky. I mean, come on, it's blue and yellow. I don't know why, because this time around it is a crazy project. I cannot really see how what they were gambling on here, or maybe they just were forced to do it some way somehow. We cannot know, but it is quite strange, and it has sadly enough cost hundreds and yet hundred thousands of life, maybe a million by when we get this for nothing, really. It's so sad. Well, I hope that I could that this explanation or this overview of the historical connection to Poltava and the recent activities there, which is, as I said, allegedly. It's not confirmed. What is confirmed is that, the very special aircrafts with the very special technology and so on, they are there in Ukraine, but of course on a disclosed location. However, no smoke without fire, so there is a, and this is not a good thing then, because this is sort of the Russians saying, you have stepped one step too far, this is it, now the gloves are coming off. We can see that, and we can see that in our respective countries as well, even more so in the US, I would sincerely say, and with the RFK and Tulsi and the ramping up in the US politics is quite and the death of the left-right narrative. It's very pleasant to see that some kind of, what Elon would say, team humanity is forming. And Elon has said yes, as far as I have been able to tell, to actually to serve in the government. And that is quite epic as well. So let's bring up some hands and grab some questions about the art. I mean, this is so long stories. It would take me an hour just to go through the twists and turns of the battle in itself. So I think that will be quite boring, actually. So the overview is there. The mainframe of the geopolitics that is connecting the past with our present, and thereby also with the possible future, as far as we can see. It's there. So any questions? And we can also jump to the US situation of today, because we are talking about attack camps, we are talking about Pentagon, we are talking about Biden, and so on. And I know we have some excellent speakers. I cannot see everybody clearly on my screen is, of course, not showing all of it as per usual. I don't know why it's sort of 10 minutes after sometimes. But John, Secretary Tish, you take the rudder and get some people up, and we can have a little bit of a discussion with regards to this, because now I've been talking too much, I think.
I lost my hearing before, so I missed the first part. But does anybody have any questions? Please request a mic, and we'll bring you up. I believe I have a few questions. Still a lunacy. I just need 1 second.
Yeah. Actually, Tish, while you in a safely manner get things sorted and throw out a couple of mics, I will actually play a song for you guys. That is Poltava.
Yay!
And it's from a Swedish band that actually are very interested in history and so on. And they have made some really good music. This might not be their best song, but it's about Poltava. So, and I will share the link as well, because it's with text and so on. The lyrics are in English. So, without further ado, Sabaton, Poltava. Here we go.
Time to make a stand. The sword has lost this nation's land. Nothing to be found. Hunger left the soldiers out. 20,000 strong. Listen, excuse for a king. Trust me, this fight you can win. Although the certain death and pain, Swedish soldiers met their pain, sacrificed their lives in vain. Poltava. In the shape of morning mist, advancing on their foe. Let's break the silent air. Waste the battle plan. Swedish forces stand alone. King is left command. Rule is left to lesser men, waiting for their chance. Listen, obey my command. Hear me, or die by my hand. Although the certain death and pain, Swedish soldiers met their pain, sacrificed their lives in vain. Poltava. Russian armies blocked their way. 20,000 lost that day. They left the ground, peace they found. There's no sign of victory. King Carolus had to flee and leave evil horde. Fear me, or will die by my sword. Although the certain death and pain, the Swedish soldiers met their name, sacrificed their lives in vain. Poltava. Although the certain death and pain, the Swedish soldiers met their name, sacrificed their lives in vain. Poltava.
Boom.
Boom. Ludwig, how are you? Do you have a question, comment?
Hello, guys. I got no questions. I got the mic and I just accepted it, but it's not that much of questions right now. More just, hello, guys. Hope all is good up in here. Boom.
Boom. All is good. I'm I'm actually gonna read a little bit from the article to get a feeling for it, and we're gonna learn some Swedish as well. You know, we always go there. So at this point, there was a cavalry tactic that is called gå på eller gapa, which is very strange because it means something totally different when you pronounce it in Swedish. But gå på, it is a very this was I was talking about the cavalry. A favorite Swedish tactic was the gå på eller gapa, an aggressive offense that was so unique among European cavalry. Swedish cavalrymen would move forward in chevron formations, horses so close that their riders locked knee to knee. And for you that are, you know, acquainted or used to horses and so on, and we are talking numbers here, we are talking, you know, 500,000. So
Matt, just to clarify, you did say chevron pattern, right?
yeah, that's
Okay, just checking.
just like the logo. You remember me talking about svinfylking?
Yeah, just like the chevron case overturned, right? That sort of
Yeah,
chevron.
yeah.
Hello, Brian. Brian, do you have a comment?
Oh, wow. Oh, yes, I do, actually. Just a moment. Move around to this other room. Actually, I did. I didn't expect you to come to me right away. Good afternoon. Good evening. Your their time. Good evening to them. Mock, you all. Hello. Hi, Miss Tisha. How are you? I came in late. So, I just got off work good and I was listening in intently and following along there. Mott's, you'd mentioned something coming up to now, and then the market too. Did you see the Nordstrom family bid for the I'm sorry, excuse me, my thoughts are scattered. I had a few things on my mind, but the Nordstrom family has put a bid up to take private the retail business. Let's see, I think that's the department store chain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be major, I think, don't you?
I think there's actually there were not there was something about oligopole or monopoly shaping. So there are some legal doubts about that they can do that kind of business, if I remember correctly.
No, I
They
think you would
cannot
be
buy the
right.
competition because then you have a monopoly situation. So they are hindered to do this by a judge right now.
Well, from the read scope of it, Barclays has took to the sidelines. You know, they're just going to sit this one out. It looks good to them because they've placed a bid to take it private. Wow, that's interesting. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. You know,
I don't really. I don't have any thoughts on that because I've been so occupied with the Poltava, and also let's not forget about that we have somebody that asked a question just the other day and put out a Q post. You know, I'm not a Q guy, but for sure I can you know, there will be touch base here in quite a few places. So I have an interesting one for you if you have missed this, and it's 1.78 millions or whatever that I've seen this post, and it is from a not a very big account either. So this is quite interesting. Let's see if I can find it here. Maybe some of you guys actually knows about this. Let's see.
well, you know that's the greatest thing about the time we live in right now, where we're at. You know, where me and you are sitting in these platforms. Um, you know, the CIA, the FBI, the government, the internal affairs, you know, they've relied heavily on having their own people, you know, present their arguments or the works and have things explained. Well, what happens when those people take to their own family and friends and they tell the true stories? And now we've got people that are just popping up that are telling things. You know, they don't, I don't, well, I guess that they kind of expected that, but to the scope of it, um, wow, you know,
I
some
will.
people, it's going to be a belly up to the bar type of deal, eh?
Exactly. The landscape is changing very rapidly. That's the Sabaton.
So,
Uh,
so, the Ericsson, I wanted to ask you, so Intel, you know, Ericsson and Intel, they're kind of big together, but Intel just decided that they would pull out of the Dow Jones.
yeah, I've heard. I've
Wow,
heard that. That was very strange, isn't it? And
isn't
Nvidia
it?
is in trouble as well. So
Oh boy.
we are seeing things happening all the time now. It's hard to keep up. It actually is. Um, with that said, if you any of you guys are interested in the aircraft and the technology as such, I will actually even if it really sounds really strange, I will actually just share the military industrial complex commercial film about this. For the short and simple, this is you could call it toys for big boys or whatever. I will put it up in the Jumbotron.
Well, you certainly couldn't call it toys for tots, could we?
No. This is
Boy, that was a big brand name that still goes on. Toys for tots. Wow.
yeah. So we have notables that is posting one post, and he has 36,000 followers. So with and assuming US account, that's not a huge following, is it? It's sort of, decent enough, but right now 1.8 million views on the number 2 in the Jumbotron. John, your opinion. Brian, your opinion. Ludwig, your opinion.
We want to know who P is. Who's P, Mott? You know?
Yeah.
In the
I met him.
you noticed?
I met him.
You met him?
Yes.
Very cool.
Well, what was that like? Please don't stop there. Don't be shy now. Spit it out. Come on. What was that like?
Yeah, he's very polite. He's a very decent race car driver as well. So you never see it on people schooled to handle all kinds of situations. So on that perspective, but isn't it? I will urge you all to retweet or even to go in and answer. Give a like, give an answer, whatever, to boost my reply, because there is everything from the Pope to Pizer to all of it. And all kind of different people are throwing out things without, So for us guys that are hang around here, if we say that this is one of the Wallenberg guys, Poker is his name, or nickname, Peter is his real name. And that is very clearly, where does Soros have his banking? Where is his quantum funds? Well, in the bank controlled by Peter and his brothers. Where does Soros go to find inspiration? He goes to Stockholm. Where does Soros pay his respect? At a grave, we could call it. It's a memory area for Raoul Wallenberg, which he honors like this, in writing and in interviews and so on, as second to his father, because that is sort of spinning the narrative as well, so and the Open Society Foundation is controlled by Daniel Sachs, who just happens to be married into the Wallenberg family, to one of the daughters of the current brothers. I mean, Is there anything? So it's quite obvious, actually.
And
It's the most logical and the most reasonable answer to 8 notables or snotables. I don't know how to pronounce it, but to his question. And so far, not really any answer. I have invited him. We could do a space on this. We have all the receipts we can talk about, but so maybe it's a shill. I don't know, but for sure, they want. This is coming up now with the Wallenberg family, and we can see some people. Thanks heaven for stand-up people, in our little community that actually, writes about this by themselves now. They made all the research. They have dug into all the material that we have released, and not least, now when we are hitting all these kind of historical crossroads that will lead us to some enlightenment to understand the complex relation between the the Russians and the Swedes, and maybe, just maybe, I'm just throwing it out there, the Operation Falukorv, meaning that leads to the Operation Paperclip, that leads to the total takeover of the US military industrial complex and corrupting all your government, and Soros buying all your judges and financing BLM. And where is Antifa from? Oh, from the same source. It's the Rothschilds. It's the Jews. No, they might be involved, but the Rothschilds starts to play the second fiddle long time ago. Even to the Nobel family that also played the second fiddle. And then we are, in Baku, and then we have, Hagelin that will, together with the Nobel family, start up this, or actually take over, act proxy for the ASEA/Ericsson cryptography, which will end up in Switzerland, which will be Crypto AG, which will, backdoor listening to everybody, taking care of the information. You could call the Crypto AG actually the sort of the global eye. This is why I'm getting here, closing the loop. The Crypto AG, and the question asked. The question asked to, I can't remember his name, by the NSA director William Odom to deputy director of CIA Keegan. I think it was Keegan. One question: who told the Kong about Cry AG? This is maybe one of the most important questions asked by an American NSA, CIA, defense minister, Secretary of State, whatever. This might be the most important singular question asked within the American community. Because in the answer there are hundreds of thousands of dead soldiers, American soldiers, average age 19. And when you have the answer to that question, you will know. And I really mean, there is no discussion anymore amongst left or right or whatever. That discussion will die when that question is answered. I asked it to J.D. Vance, actually. I will put out that tweet as well. You can at least have a look at it and see if you find it interesting, because Twitter as per usual. I'm very convinced about these kind of questions will pop up. And my own tweet is not I'm getting so frustrated. I probably put it in the bookmarks. Give me a sec.
Just real quick, Mr. Monk, if I can chime in. Miss Tisha, are you there?
I'm here.
I wanted to ask you, you're, an American like me, so did you hear that Jeep Wrangler, the Jeep Wranglers and the Grand Cherokees, if you remember those models, they're
Yep.
taken off the assembly lines.
What? When?
Yep, as of now. Just like the Camaro's been phased out to move into
Oh
even,
no.
the Malibu and Camaro body for Chevy's gone, and now they've just this company's just released, the Jeep Wrangler edition and the Grand Cherokee edition. No
And
longer will be made.
they're discontinuing both?
Yep. Yes, ma'am. They will no
Oh,
longer be made.
that's disappointing. I would like a Jeep Wrangler.
I actually did too. I wasn't big on the Grand Cherokees, but I seen a lot of them. I mean, a lot of people bought those vehicles. They were I thought anyway, they were quite a popular vehicle. Seen a lot of them on the road. But the Jeep Wranglers, those little Jeeps, they were just great in the '90s, and I remember anyway, great little vehicles, and it phased out.
That's insane. They don't lose their value. A Jeep, when you pull it off the lot, it doesn't lose its value. So whoever made that decision, that wasn't very smart.
I don't know unless there's a new EV line they're looking into or a new model, and they need that production line, let's say. So I don't know. We're seeing quite a shift in that area. I thought it was real surprising that certain ones got in with the big three here. So in automotive, oh my God, I can't even think of the name of it now. Jesus, help me. Oh my gosh, I'll think of it. Tell you later the brand of that, Volkswagen. Sorry, Volkswagen just got big new deals with, someone, and they're going in the EV line. They're starting their own in-house storage for battery also, battery storage and battery, um, the reworks, battery charging and all of that. So, yep, they're taking on all new projects too.
Well, the problem is they're not selling EVs, right? The batteries cost a ridiculous amount of money. The batteries themselves.
Oh yes, oh yes. The days of high prices for things that, yep.
Have no fear for atomic energy, as they sung in the back in the day. But Volkswagen, since you mentioned them, they are for the first time ever laying off factories and factory workers in Germany.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah,
That's they made some deals over here with the union,
yeah.
and yeah, yeah.
So Volkswagen is finally moving to the following up the Operation Paperclip and the Nazi scientists.
Yes, that's why I made mention following that well. Good job, yeah.
Well, NATO has had one sole purpose, that is to keep Germany down and keep Russia out. Well, that's the two, but yeah, those two are the main objectives. And that's why the Nord Stream went boom, boom, isn't it?
And also, there's a little conniption being made. Little people are having little fits, about the Vladimir Putin and Tucker Carlson interview. Tucker Carlson was sharp to make note of Vladimir Putin's time in Germany and the profound works that he did there. It was at the same time he sharply spoke back to him and told him, revealed to everybody that thank God the CIA didn't let him in. Oh, that was quiet. So there are things being said about that too. In this recent interview with Tucker Carlson, it's been. Oh, I think they've been on a tear here lately.
Tucker has,
Oh boy.
he is, since he actually is Swedish, I think he's sort of hovering over the
Yep.
target a little bit. He's not going for gold yet, or going for the real dangerous stuff yet. But we are doing that instead for Tucker. Shaping up, paving the way, so to speak, fixing the garden path for Tucker and the B accounts to walk on, and being cozy, whatever.
Well, not everyone could actually sit down with Vladimir Putin or one of these high uppers, and actually have wrought, worked questions. So I thought it was very interesting. I'm still curiously dabbling into trying to look into what he meant about the 1650 borders, and what they did and didn't own back then versus how that's changed now, and what's going to go back to what, and how that's going to unfold. Because I remember, weren't just a couple of years ago that they had, just a few years ago, they had a Kazakhstan, had a coup on their establishment there, and there was a big blow up, with the political scene. They took to fighting and shooting and a battle, in fact, so that Russia had to step in. And, well, we see how things are unfolding now around Poland and all of them. So that was where some of the biggest miners were, and the gas deals they had there. Wow. Those people would have, they could have gave their people gas and services for free forever.
Sort of.
They needed to pay their fair share, is what Joe Biden said.
Mm. Well, it's as per usual. What we really are talking about here is, again, the natural resources. And as far as humanity will develop, is the ability to share the natural resources in a in a decent way, not just letting a few people that have mastered the art in deception. And with that deception, I mean the money, the monetary system as such, the central banking system, because that is the key. That is the key that unlocks understanding that how that one works, which is not complicated because it is a Ponzi scheme and it's a quite simple one as well. It's just a belief system. So unlocking the minds of people, of each and every one of us as individuals, that is the key. And if you add that belief system on top of controlling by that belief system, actually as the root of it, controlling the natural resources and the flow of this by invented laws, then you are back to the Constitution, you are back to 1776, and you understand that it is the best ever written defense document against Axel Oxenstierna's doctrine and the Stockholm bureaucracy doctrine and his central banking system, which sort of were at least partially defeated in Poltava. At least the Russian beat it. And then they fell back into it because the Russian Revolution, just, 200 years later, boom, it's gone for them. You have the Bolsheviks, the Social Democrat Bolsheviks, with the Swedish heritage, Lenin running that shit show, financed by the usual oligarchs from the US and Sweden, as per usual. So, thinking about that, it's not that complicated. And you know me, I will quote Henry Ford, if the public understood the monetary and or the financial systems, there are many quotes of this. If they understand the financial system, there will be a revolution in the morning. So that was in the time of those revolutions. To make a revolution now is quite a different thing, because it's got to be a revolution with inside information. It has to be enlightenment with information, with the truth actually as the carrier. And I might be wrong on some of these things so far, not that much, but it is a complicated world, and you can keep, as dear Miss Josie, hope you are right up there, Josie, would have said, you need to keep your head on a swivel to match up to this world that we are living in. But if we help each other out and we talk about it, we give different perspectives. We can see the commercial side. Brian is always updated on the commercial side. We can see the legal side from Jon. We can see the human side from Tish and from others. We have the factual side from the secretary. Please, if you do not follow the secretary, please follow the secretary. Go in on her pin post, and there are both in Swedish and in English all kinds of articles and there will be on the subjects that we have talked about, of course, in these spaces. It's everything from Longobards to long-range missiles, whatever. So please do that, and have a habit of just retweeting that one, because if your friends or somebody that just follows you randomly or whatever happens to jump in there, they will find a enormous source of information to dig into and do their own due diligence, their own research. So that is what we need to do. And when we have done our due diligence, when we have done our self-enlightenment, I would call it, and created ourselves some perspectives, then we need to get it out to people. And then we have our dear young, the president to be, Ludwig, that will show the importance of the word, or the sword, because the sword is the word. The word is the sword. That is like almost as important to actually understand. You can see all these talking heads. They are very good at talking. They have a script and they can talk. Oh my Lord, they are so amazing, and people will listen to them. But they are only good at talking and performing. So
Almost like central casting agents of sorts. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they are.
Sounds in
Central
America.
casting.
Yeah, it's like
Central casting.
it's
I'm
like
sorry.
Oliver Tucker calls on. That's that it is amazing that they actually go under the same name. It is like that.
I tend to refer to it as internal affairs.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like the music wonder as well. All of them are all of them are offsprings. Yeah, sorry.
I couldn't hear you.
No problems, Tish. No problems. All this in the music wonder are like offsprings of the three-letter agencies, families, or military. Oh, come on. Well, they keep it under control. And
I mean, hey, to think about it, we actually used to have soap operas. We still do today. One's called The Bold and the Beautiful. Another is called As the World Turns. I mean,
And
this would have
these were
been
the days
excellent,
of
right?
our lives.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been perfect, right?
Maud, is there any truth to the? I'm sorry. Is there any truth to the Soros-Wallenberg connection?
yeah,
Or theory? There is.
it's not a theory. It's a fact. It is.
Oh, cool. That's
It's a
even
fact.
better.
I've been putting out those. It's quite a long thread, and it's a little bit messy because it goes a little bit forth and back. But the handler of Soros and the Soros family, his name is Daniel Sachs. He's married to one of the Wallenberg ladies. That's the Open Society Foundation, the trust. And Soros have had his business in the Wallenberg SEB bank, the big bank. One of those banks that you never will hear about because it's just there, acting in the shadows. he has his quantum funds there. And of course, the Wallenbergs, they can rig the stock market at any given second, at any given millisecond, because they run the Nasdaq platform. They own it. They control it. And of course, the digital highway, meaning more or less that's also theirs, the telecom, and they can switch off your power by the ABB, the power grid control systems, which is linked to the Ericsson control systems, which is linked to the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6G network. And if that fails, they still have their own satellites, not as many as Elon and so on, and not for that purpose, but they still have their satellites floating around, as far as we know. But Space Force maybe have done the bumping car thing with the X-37Bs with those. So now Soros is Wallenberg from the get-go. He even met Raoul Wallenberg in Budapest. And Raoul Wallenberg was an asset. He had some really strange connections and so on and so forth. And he was picked off the game. And he was just a cousin. He was not even that important.
It's unbelievable how they're all intertwined. It's insane. It all leads back to the Wallenbergs.
Yeah. They have a finger in everything, or the hand in the cookie, or all over the place. And they are the tech giants. Elon might be a tech giant, you could say, or Zuckerberg, but Zuckerberg will be nothing without these guys. Elon is a little bit of a different story because he has his satellites. He has a leverage. He has a stick that is long enough to lift the stone.
It would be just next level, if he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. And the reason why I came here originally, we kind of talked about this before. He designed the Yellow Pages and sold that as an advertisement to many companies. We watched what he done to the phone book, and well, he just decided to stick himself here, right smack dab in the middle of everything again. And I think that he's going to destroy Google's advertising department, and that's what he's been doing since this started. Yep. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, there and also the strange divisive moves with creating the Meta company that also tells a story about where we are going. But however, without the backbone core technology, the number portability, the switches, the internet as such, or there are several different players there, but the main core technology is still Ericsson. That sends our ones and zeros that makes us talk right now. There is no of these devices that we are looking at right now that they run on the patents of Ericsson, of the Wallenbergs. That's it. Full stop. End of story. And that also means that they can listen in to everything at any given time. And then people start to think, oh, they can listen to me. Oh, they can see what I read. Oh, well, yeah. But they can also see, read, pinpoint down to a meter or 30 centimeters, whatever. Somebody that is doing nefarious child trafficking, for example, and so on and so on and so on. They can also do that, and that is the real question. You have to ask the right questions. So why can we track and follow millions of people for COVID spread reasons? Why can we shut down accounts, fine people, turn off accounts for, anti-Semitism or whatever reason or whatever? But we cannot find the child traffickers, the nefarious ones. Are they so smart? Nah, they are not. Probably they are mainly more stupid than others.
Maybe because the U.S. government is the largest trafficking operation on the globe. That's why.
Yeah,
throwing that out there.
They learn from the they learn a lot of things, implemented. Stockholm bureaucracy, we have the vaccines, social security numbers, and so on and so on, and it never ends. So the tie between the glue, the oligarchy glue by the hip between Sweden and US is obvious for anybody that actually just do a little bit of due diligence and check it out. The research is a no-brainer. It's like 25 minutes and then okay. Nasdaq, Soros, Antifa, BLM, judges, it's written with big neon letters on the blimp. It should not say Goodyear. It should say research on the blimp. This air balloon thing or whatever. Zeppelin. So there we are. Let's hope that there are quite a few people listening into this. Please retweet, share the space so people can listen in on the recorded one. And that will also probably come out in MP3 for you guys that have friends that are, sporty spice and need to have it downloaded. It will also be available on YouTube. And talking about YouTube, I shared a link to the song that we played today. And let's see if we have found. No, cannot see that. I will see if we can find the tweet we made about J.D. Vance. Because I cannot find my own tweet or tweet my X post because X is messing up. This is very frustrating for me. My search function is messed up on the X app.
You know what I'd like to just go ahead and petition my social media platform. X is my preferred social media platform, and I think I'll just go ahead and petition the owner, that I need a device, so that it needs it's worthy of a device that's capable, and we'd appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. That'd be great. Management.
What did you ask for? What did you want, Brian?
A device, you know, Yeah, X
Uh-huh.
droid, or what did he call the thing? He called it Prime. No, what did he call it? Oh my God, what's the name of his bot? Optimus?
Yes.
Yes, Optimus. So we need an Optimus X or an X Optimus device. I need a device. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to the owner, Mr. Elon Musk. I'm an Android user and I prefer Android devices. You know the phone well, Mr. Elon, and we appreciate that, but yeah, it's time that Americans had an exclusive device, just for Americans for X. That would be awesome. Thanks.
He is putting out a phone, isn't he, Brian? Elon. He posted a
I
phone,
hope so. I
and
hope so.
he's hoping to get the Everything app. You know what the Everything app is, right? Phone, transfer of money, everything could be done on this app. That's his goal. Or so he says.
Where did Young go?
Hey, Peter, do you have a question when we kick
Oh,
him?
yeah, I thought about questions today. No, not really, but
Can you hear me?
I have to think a little bit more. But Mott, what were you looking for? What kind of tweet with JD Vance?
Yeah, I did one with the question.
Tolkien.
Yeah, with the question, one question for J.D. Vance, who is Bombadil, and one question, and compare that to the question from Mr. the Honorable William Odom, and it's gone.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to look for that a little bit, and I couldn't find it.
The
But
whole post
I will
is
look for
gone?
that in my bookmarks also.
It's I mean, it's a very nice picture, and oh, I found it. Amazing stuff. I put it in the Amazon directly. Boom, it just popped up. I searched on all these words that are in the text, and now suddenly it just popped up. Like try 58. So, yeah, bookmark that one because you will not see it. It's amazing that it's just gone away. That is for you guys that know these questions. It is the answer is the same. I hope that JD actually understands that. I will actually just put it in the notables thread as well. So Vanity Fair, they did a hit piece on Bombadil, and then they did a hit piece on J.D. Vance. Isn't that ironic? And they dress him up a little bit like Bombadil, at least, so I helped them out, a little bit.
Did you post that, Mott? The Mumba,
Yeah, it's up
Vanity Fair?
it's up in the top. And it includes your favorite song, which is about time to before we wrap it up. It's in the background of that, just for the sake of it. So, what do you say, Tish? Should we shake it out a little bit now before the last 5 minutes? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not? I mean, this is the only song that actually is a song about something on X. So, guys, Desperado.
Tom Bombadil, he delivers news with a chill. All the updates in a purple pill for folks to get their fill. Morning starts with his voice. He makes the world rejoice. Doesn't complicate the choice. His words so precise. My Bombadil, gonna make you feel the thrill. Every headline, every spill, he delivers with a chill. People gather around and listen. Every bit of news he's dishing gives the facts without omission. Keeps it simple, no division. Radio waves he controls. News and stories, heart and soul. Purple pill makes us whole. Tom's the one who holds the goal. My Bombadil, gonna make you feel the thrill. Every headline, every spill, he delivers with a chill. Radio waves he controls. News and stories, heart and soul. Purple pill makes us whole. Tom's the one who holds the goal. My Bombadil, gonna make you feel the thrill. Every headline, every spill, he delivers with a chill.
Oh.
John, is that you
yes.
playing the guitar?
One more time, Peter. I couldn't hear you.
No, sir. He asked if I was playing the guitar.
Exactly.
But actually me that messed up a little bit with but yeah, it doesn't really matter. So I think that we got it full circle around with
Not yet, sir. Sorry.
Come again, Peter. What do you say?
Not yet, sir, because I think that you need a whole soundtrack. One song isn't enough, so you have to that Bombadil song. You need to have put a lot of other songs like you played today, maybe Sabaton and your whole album, so you can. Yeah, I think it would be appropriate. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. Well, it's like Bombadil radio. The radio waves he controls. So some days it's more like a little bit getting to be a radio show, but with the opportunity to have a chit chat. To call in, so to speak.
Yes.
But that's the way. If that is the way that we, that people prefers to have this, we just need to whatever means to get the message out, and I sometimes, somebody on a specific topic wants to come up and have a conversation, and I really love that, because it's like, but otherwise it is like Desperado nailed it in the song. He really nailed it, because my job is to deliver information. Of course, I get frustrated on the big accounts that really do not do the due diligence, or they are actually, not allowed to speak the truth. They just end always with just like Antifa, Soros, or Gates. They never pull the picture together. Actually, very few of them is even trying to do that. Maybe because they don't know, or maybe,
or maybe they're getting to Dr. Evil soon.
yeah, it's hard to tell, and I'm not judging anybody in that perspective. Maybe we are too early. We are not in the correct timing. On the other hand, with us talking about this and trying to, shed some light on, Tisha says it very, very well. They are everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. So, and Tisha is correct, because you will find the traces of these operators, these very skilled operators. I just hope that my thesis, my speculative, I'm just guessing, I do not have a clue, but I guess that they have switched side quite a long time ago. But we need to play this one out, because of all the millions of invested people that invested in this system, in their corruption, in their Stockholm bureaucracy, in their Axel Oxenstierna belief, whatever. Those people, there are so many that it needs to be handled in a certain way. And I think that way is that enough people understand who they are when they look in the mirror, and thereby also maybe do some research, trying to figure out how did this happen, who did what, and who's connected to what, and so on. And these business dealings, most people have a, when Brian comes up and talk about acquisitions and mergers and so on, it tends to get very, for some people. I know that, but that is the art of cloaking. This is what they do. They cover up by proxy, and you need to keep a good eye on that, or your head on a swivel with regards of that, because they have been very successful in doing this. They were exposed during the Second World War, and after, a little bit after, but after 1950, something like that, the excellence in hiding the business dealings is tremendously good. And they are using the Stockholm bureaucracy, the maritime law, the admiralty law to do this. And it, of course, affecting the school systems and so on, and cherry picking out people with the right personality to serve in a nefarious system to the higher educations. And they picked over the years millions and yet millions out of this. And of course, it's a family heritage. Many times, it runs in the family. Oh, that's a good. That is a good song, actually. There is a song for every line you say, but I remember to play that the next time. It runs in the family. I can't remember the correct title of the song, but it's a good one. Anyways, Tish, we are at the bitter end.
Yes, Peter has a question. Peter?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, because I was writing before about like this crypto AG. It's like an information nuke, right?
Yeah, it is like the global eye. The comparison of crypto AG until the 1980s, listening into everybody, of course, and used in the battlefield. It was heavily used in the battlefield, and that will take us all the way around to the question from William Odom. And we have it up in the Jumbotron as well. I hope so.
I just leave it out there, but I just wonder, like, who of the big accounts are gonna sort of creep closer to that and lay their hands on that kind of information and try to talk about it. I just wonder who it's going to be, but we will see in the future.
I mean, Elon has hinted on it, but the only one that has been really hard on it, it's Donald J. Trump. He's done something. He really has. Starting out already in 2016. There is a company called Ericsson, and they are nefarious, more or less. Well, he took a minute or two to tell it, but that was what he told. And then he most likely put the Space Force on top of them. And we will see. This is out of, the reach of our sources of information, but, it's most likely that this is a done deal already, but we need to see it play out. We have some exciting weeks in front of us, and then as soon as we switch to October, it's going to be even more exciting, because then the BRICS Bank will go fully operational, and officially so. And that is that when that enormous loads of cat turds hit the fan, or when the shit hits the fan, and scatters, it will scatter in the lap of the Biden administration. And I cannot say that is a bad thing. There will come something really good out of that. However, if the public opinion is still not ready, I think they will just kick this can down the road until enough people have realized that reality has been smoke and mirrors for the most of us, the most of our lives. And as soon as you realize that, confront it, then you be good off. So that is my advice to you. Just face it for what it is. I mean, the most people hanging around in these spaces now, that they have a good perception of a reality and their own perspectives. So do not take what I say for granted. Question it. Question what yourself think. That's called critical thinking. It starts with questioning yourself. And then you do your homework. And you listen to the other side as well. Because then you have the opportunity to mix the perspectives, and then you have a reasonably good perception of reality. With that said, co-hosts, thank you very much, Secretary. Thank you very much, John. Our dear host, thank you very much for this evening. Should we round off with a song and just chill out a little bit and then we end? So I say thank you to Peter. I say thank you to Brian that were up and talking before, and to all the dear listeners. Verfa, Tony, Sam, Klasse, Gillian, nice to see you. Green, Carol, Laurie, Matthew, Anja, Koa Podium, Stellan, Irene, Eva, Christina, Lars, Littlesk. I cannot pronounce that, but anyways, let's end this one with a song that I know that Tisha would like. So I will see if I can find a link. Otherwise, we take that the next space. So to everybody, enjoy the rest of the day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and take care. And here we go with Struggle Jennings.
The world getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country, and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpent.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lion not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting, and then I pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day, one day, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Sorry about that. Tish, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.